Hey, Molly. Are you there? I was just curious if you saw the condo photos that I sent you earlier. The view is from so high up. I was just so excited that I had to show everyone my new view. And it has a huge living room and even a concierge. I knew that getting with a CFO would be a good idea. Having a rich husband is great.
No, actually. I didn't look at the photo, and I don't appreciate all your bragging. So please just leave me alone, alright?
You know, if you don't want to talk to me, you could always just block me. But the fact that you haven't until now means that you secretly want to hear about how amazing my life is.
Yeah, that's really not what's going on here at all. And I haven't blocked you because you're my sister. I only haven't blocked you for that reason and that alone.
You always have the same old lame excuses. Do you know that? If you really loved George, then you'd have blocked me by now. Or do you think that you'll somehow be able to take him back from me? Because I can tell you right now that that's not going to happen. George doesn't have even an ounce of feelings left for you, so there.
Oh boy, here we go again.
I'm just saying that it's clear you can't let him go. Or the fact that I was able to steal him from you. But it's your fault for not keeping your eyes on that rich man of yours. And to think that you two had been dating for 5 years before I was finally able to make him all mine. I knew that you two were even thinking about marriage. But I guess I put an end to all of that right away, didn't I? So why don't you just accept that I've won and just leave us to be in peace already?
You're the one who messaged me in the first place. And I don't want George back at all, thank you very much. Why can't you just accept that I have a lot of complicated feelings about all of this? I mean, you're my sister, but I wish that you would quit rubbing this in my face all the time.
Oh man, you really are just such a crybaby. Do you know that? You think your crocodile tears are going to change anything? If anything, it just makes me think of you as all the more pathetic.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You don't have to be like that to me.
Yeah. You can say whatever you want, but all I hear is a little loser asking for her boyfriend back. It's not cute, though, and you won't be getting George back.
I'm not trying to get pity from you, or get George back. How many times am I going to have to say that? Yes, we were talking about getting married, but we're apart now and I don't think about it. And besides, he was the one in Get With You, so why would I want to marry a man like that now?
There you go, making up all those lame little excuses again. It really is just sad, you know? But maybe he left you because you're such a crybaby? And for that, I'm going to have you in the very back at mine and George's wedding.
Wait, what? What wedding? What are you talking about?
Oh, didn't you hear? We're going to be getting married this year. He told me that he can't wait any longer and wants to do it right away.
You have got to be kidding me. I was shocked when you two moved in together. But now you're telling me that you're getting married too?
Well, duh. I mean, George is already 30 years old. And I guess that his dad had a long talk with him about taking responsibility. Not to mention he has a lot to think about with work. So we figured the easiest thing to do would just be to marry each other as soon as possible.
Oh, I see. Well, no, I hadn't heard any of that at all.
Oh, don't worry. You'll be getting an invitation when we have more details figured out. But just remember that you're going to be kept to the very back of the whole affair. I can't wait to see your crying face at the very end of the walkway. Yours is going to be the last that we see before we drive off into the sunset together.
Oh man, don't you have any pride for yourself, Molly? If you really want to get back together with me, you should just talk to me about it directly.
What in the world are you talking about, George?
I mean that I saw you just now in the office. You came to my dad to try and make him get back together with you, right? Have to say that I'm pretty shocked. I didn't realise that you wanted me so badly. I'm a bit of a bad boy, if you hadn't noticed.
Literally, what in the world are you talking about? Have you hit your head or something like that? I don't want anything to do with you ever again. And your dad called me here to talk to him about something else.
And just why would my dad want to talk to my ex-girlfriend, He doesn't associate with bottom feeders like you. He's too busy.
He was suspicious about why we broke up after 5 years just for you to end up with my sister. And he was surprised to hear about you and my sister getting married. So he called me to discuss that.
Oh, yeah, that does sound like him, I guess. He just can't learn how to mind his own business. But who cares who I date? It's my choice. He needs to learn to butt out and let me live my life.
I think it's that your dad is worried about you and wants to make sure that you're making good choices.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the excuse he gave you for his actions. But it's so obvious that you came to the office today to try and beg for me to get back together with you. Your obsession with me is really just getting sad at this point, Molly.
I think the only person who thinks anyone is sad here is your dad about you. In fact, he apologized for your actions to me today. He apologized for what you did, and then he gave me a rather thick envelope.
Oh, I get what's going on now. You were blackmailing my dad about what I did so that you could get a big payout. Is that it?
You have got to be kidding me. Do you really think that's what's going on?
You know that we weren't even engaged yet, right? Oh, but I get why you'd be mad about wasting 5 years of your 20s with me. I would want to pay out too if I was a poor little nobody like you. But man, it really is sad when you get caught red-handed taking money like that, isn't it?
You really have no idea about anything that happened between your dad and I. But yes, if you really must know, he did give me some money.
There you go, I called it. I guess at least there was a silver lining to getting dumped by me after all. I hope you think of me when you spend that money.
Again, you have no idea at all what you're talking about. And the only person I feel any gratitude towards is your father. I know that you and my sister are getting married, but I wouldn't do anything more to upset your dad. He really is getting on his last straw with you.
Ah, well, thank you so much for your concern, but I think I'm going to keep on living my life however I want. Especially if that means avoiding marrying an old hag.
Hey there, sis. Did you get the invitation to my wedding? I bet that you were pretty surprised, weren't you? Did you look at where we were going to be having it? It's a pretty amazing place.
Oh, yes. I saw the venue. It sounds like a pretty amazing place. Even the invitation was all shiny. And haven't a bunch of celebrities gotten married there too? This must be costing a lot, no?
Well, that's what happens when you marry a CFO! Did you really think we were going to have some tiny wedding? And the catering is being done by one of the best places in the city, too. We've even got a Michelin chef to create the menu for us.
Wow. So much money, all to spend it all on just one day of celebration.
Well, this day is going to be one of the most important in my entire life. I'm going to be the star of the show, and everyone is going to see how bright I'll shine. Ooh, maybe some celebrities will even show up to help me celebrate it. Just thinking about it makes me so excited.
I get being happy about your wedding, but do you have any idea how much it's going to cost? I mean, I know that George is rich, but even he doesn't have limitless wealth. And you've basically been nothing but a mooch ever since you graduated.
I have not been a mooch or anything like that. At all. I've made my own money off of modeling, thank you very much. I'm a model with an agency and everything. Sure, I have a part-time job that I have at my office and everything, but I'm a model. Don't get me wrong.
It sounds to me like you have a really booming career there. But are you really saying that a part-time model and her unemployed fiancé are going to be able to afford something like this? I hope you two weren't planning on trying to pay for the whole thing through your wedding gifts.
Who is unemployed here? Besides, there's really nothing to worry about at all. I mean, George's dad is going to be paying for it all anyways. So we're not going to be paying for anything.
Hold on a second. You mean that George's dad really said that he's going to pay for it?
Oh, come on. Surely you can't be surprised about that, right? I mean, of course he was going to. George is the CFO of his company. Of course his dad is going to pay for the wedding. Not just the venue. He's going to pay for the catering and staff and everything. We won't have to spend a single dime.
But what I want to know is, if George's dad really actually promised that he would pay for your wedding, I mean, did he actually say those things? Because as far as I know, his dad really didn't seem to approve of his son sneaking around one bit.
Oh, George told me all about how you were called into his father's office and how you probably tried to rat us out for your own benefit. But even then, there was no scolding that came or anything. Don't you get it? This just proves that I've won. I'm in and you're out, and that's that. He clearly approves of our wedding, and it's obvious that he's going to support us.
Okay, I mean, I wasn't going to throw a fit about it or anything like that. I was just curious about what he said is all.
And just why in the world do you even care now that this doesn't even involve you, huh? Did you really think his dad wouldn't support his own son? I mean, you know that George is going to take over the company once his dad steps down, don't you? There's no way that he wouldn't pay for a wedding with so much on the line.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because I'm actually not so sure he is going to be taking over.
You really have no idea what you're talking about. You're just jealous because we're going to have the amazing wedding that you never could. But don't worry, it's not like we're not going to invite you. In fact, the both of us really hope that you show up. We want to rub your face in our success.
Well, I'm your sister, so of course I was going to be at the wedding. But you said you were going to sit me in the back. So I'm still wondering if you even have a seat actually saved for me at this point.
Oh, come on. That doesn't mean you're going to miss the wedding, though, right? You have to be there to sit in the back and look all sad for us. And you have to make sure to bring us a big wedding gift. We won't be accepting anything less than about 10 grand.
Hold on a second. You're not really asking your guest to be giving you $10,000 as a gift, are you?
Oh, come on. This is going to be the wedding of a lifetime. Did you really think the ticket to get in was going to be cheap? Besides, don't you want to come and see your one and only little sister getting married? This is never going to happen again. Surely money's no object for you to be there for me, right?
What in the world are you talking about? How can you seriously be asking for that? That's just absurd.
But you're missing some of the perks that you get of sitting in the front row. That means that when you walk through the door, you've already found your seat. Honestly, in a lot of ways, you're getting the VIP treatment. Don't you see that?
I have no idea who in their right mind would pay $10,000 for entrance into any kind of wedding. But I'm certainly not going to be shelling out that sort of cash to go see some failed model get hitched.
Excuse me? What did you just say? What's the matter with you? Fine then. Since you and I are sisters, you'll only have to bring $1,000. How does that sound? Now that I've given you such a huge discount, you have to show up at the wedding, right?
You really are just completely out of line right now. And just why should I have to show up there anyways?
Oh, come on. You're not actually going to miss this, right? One of the whole reasons I want to get married is just that I can see the disappointment on your face. Surely $1,000 shouldn't be too much for you, right? After all the strings that I'm pulling and the role that I'm giving you?
Let's get something straight here. You do know that George has been disinherited, right?
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? I don't understand.
I mean that's why I've been wondering if you're really going to be able to pull off having such a huge wedding. That's why I said it'll be a wedding for a wannabe model and her unemployed husband. And I really don't know about bringing $1,000 just for that.
Wait a second. I don't understand. What is this? What are you talking about? What do you mean he's been disinherited?
So I guess you still haven't heard the news then, right? But I think you should go and ask George or his dad as soon as you can. And you should also go and find out just who is going to be paying for that wedding. You might just be able to save yourself. Or your wedding if you try and act fast.
What the heck is going on here? Why in the world did you tell Tina that I had been disinherited? What's the matter with you? That things were going so well, and I finally thought that we were going to have some smooth sailing, and then you have to come along and blow everything up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I ruin your plan to defraud my sister through her marriage to you? It's not my fault that your dad chose to do what he did. Besides, I know that it's not just that. He's cutting you off everywhere. I know that he took your fancy black card, and I bet that isn't going to be giving you a dime for your wedding. But I still just wonder what you've been telling Tina in the midst of all of this. And just how did you think it was going to be smooth sailing? I mean, what did you think was going to happen once you two are married and she finds out that you're out of a job?
Shut up. I don't need you critiquing my plan. It was all going to work in the end, okay? Or at least everything was going to be just fine until you had to go and ruin it. Look, I thought I had done such a good job of hiding from Tina that my dad had cut me off, and when she found out, she flew into a huge panic.
Oh, yes, I bet that she would have. And I don't blame her one bit for it. It really is ironic, though. She was getting married to you and thought that she'd be set for the rest of her life. You two even wanted to invite me so that you could try and rub my face in it. But now the only people who are going to end up regretting everything are you two.
What's the matter with you? How dare you talk as if you're not a part of this? You did this. This is all your fault, and you have to pay for this. Look, I have no idea what you told my dad or what he told you, but I just know that you had a part in all of this.
Wow. Well, here's a side I didn't think I would see of you. You're so desperate now. But I'm sure that you already know all of what I told your dad. I already told you exactly what I did, of course. But you had quite a different attitude when I was there at the office. You were so cocky, weren't you?
But, well, I mean, I thought you had come back to my dad's office to beg for him to make me get back together with you. And even if my dad did want to know the truth about how your sister and I got together, you didn't have to tell him the part about where I was cheating on you. But don't you realize the problems that you've made for us? I was so shocked when the day after I saw you at the office, my dad called me into his and told me the horrible news.
There you go, like a child crying because you didn't get a toy that you wanted. You thought you knew exactly what was going on, but you don't know anything.
Shut up. You don't know anything. I'm not crying. This isn't how things were supposed to go. I'd never seen my dad so mad at me before. Look, he's always given me whatever I want, and now I'm going to get nothing for the rest of my life. This can't be happening to me.
I can't believe that you've gotten this far in life and you still act like such a petulant, spoiled child. It really is just pathetic.
What did you say? You can't talk to me like that. It's not fair.
Of course your dad spoiled you. You were his one and only son. I mean, I know all about how your mom died when you were young. So obviously your dad was putting all his hopes into you. I'm not shocked at all that he is upset with you.
You don't know anything about me or my dad, so don't pretend like you do.
You know, when your dad called me into the office to talk about you and my sister, he was so crushed. He just had no idea how he could have ended up raising such a scummy son. He even said that. I could hear his voice choking up and how disappointed he was in you.
No, that can't be right. Please tell me this isn't true. This can't be happening to me.
Well, I think you have more pressing things to worry about now. Like, how are you going to afford this huge extravagant wedding that Tina kept going on and on about? Why don't you quit crying like a baby to me and get the rest of your life in order, huh? After that, Tina messaged me crying about how overnight their wedding budget had been literally decimated. She realized that she was never going to get the huge wedding she'd been bragging about. But Tina was freaking out about the wedding and wondering about how she was going to get out of her relationship with George before it was too late. She missed her chance to act. George had already sent the wedding certificate to be filed away, and wedding or no, the two were legally husband and wife now. The two of them ended up moving into a cramped little apartment and had to take the first job that they could find. George begged his father for money over and over, but it was no use. He even burst into his father's building to beg for help, but George's dad later told me was carried out by security promptly. Ever since then, Tina has been too busy handling her own crazy life with her own terrible husband to bother me anymore. As I mentioned above, George's father and I still keep in touch. I had heard from some of the staff about how angry he had gotten at his son, but to me he had never been anything but kind and courteous. As for me, I was more or less able to rid myself of Tina and George and simply went on with my life. I was glad to have dodged that bullet and was satisfied that I had put an end to Tina's wedding plans before she would have ended up with the bill for such a huge affair. Whether she'll ever see it that way is another issue. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Serenity, is your leg doing all right?
Oh, hi, Dad.
I heard that you took a fall down the stairs at school today.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention and slipped down the whole flight of them. But besides a couple bangs and bruises, the only real damage was a slight sprain in my left ankle. It's bad enough where I'm being sent home for the day, but it's not that bad, so you don't have to worry about it.
I see. Must be bad enough, though, if you're being sent home.
Well, I only have one period left, so instead of staying at school barely able to walk, they said it's better I go home and rest. That last period is gym as well, so there's really no point in me going if I'm not able to move much.
Well, at least it's not too painful for you right now. By the way, I haven't been able to get in touch with your mum at all today.
Oh, I see. Same with myself. Someone from the school office tried to give her a call as well, telling her about what happened, but she didn't pick up. They gave her office a call as well, but they said she wasn't at work right now.
What is she up to right now, then?
The person from her work said that she might be driving right now, and that's why she hasn't been able to answer.
Ah, that might be the case. But it's been a little bit now, and she still hasn't gotten back to me. Also, sorry about me not being able to call back right away.
Don't worry about it. At least you're texting me now about this. Did you make it over to Minnesota then for your business trip? I'd assume so because you're able to text with me now. Well, anyway, luckily the school got a hold of Grandma and she's on her way with the car right now to get me.
Oh, is that right? She did say to me last week that today she'd have the day off.
Well, since she's on her way, I'll be fine.
Sounds good. I'll make sure to come back from this trip soon, so don't get too crazy with that ankle of yours.
All right. Have a fun time over there.
Hey, thank you.
Dad, I'm in trouble. I need help right now.
What's going on, Serenity? Don't tell me you fell on that ankle again. I really hope that nurse didn't mess up and it's actually broken or something.
No, this isn't about my leg. I just got home a second ago and limped up to the door to unlock it, but for some reason it was already open. I thought that maybe I forgot to lock the door before going to school today, so I just let myself in. But right as I walked through the front door, a man I have never seen before came at me from the toilet.
Huh?
The moment he saw me, he started to scream at me, saying to not come into other people's houses like that. And then he pushed me outside and slammed the door before locking it on me.
Don't tell me you accidentally went to the wrong house.
I didn't, Dad. This is our house. I know it. Grandma was the one to drop me off here as well, so there's no way this is the wrong house.
That's true. What the heck is going on there then?
I don't think I should be saying something like this to you, Dad.
What do you have to say?
There's a car with the company's name that Mom works for written on it parked in front of the house on the road.
What? So, her company car then?
Yeah. I also saw a woman that looked like Mom in her suit running for it out of the back. I'm not sure it was her, though, or not, because she ran past so quickly that I couldn't see her face. And then she got into that company car.
I see. So, that is her company's car then?
I'm not sure I should think this about her, but
I know, Serenity. I know.
right now things are too crazy and scary here, so I'm going to stay at Grandma's house. I'm not sure who that was in the house or what he will do, so I'm just going to stay away from here.
Alright. Please go and stay with her then. I don't want you getting any more hurt than you already are. I'm going to try giving your mum one more call. If she doesn't answer, I might have to call the police. Until I say it's okay for you to go back to the house, stay with your grandma.
All right. I'm sorry for texting you like this while you're working.
Don't worry about that. This is an emergency, so I'm glad you told me about it. Please go to your grandma's and relax now. Emily? Where are you right now?
I'm out on my break right now. And what's going on with you, Sam? What about your work?
I'm already in Minnesota now, and have some time on my hands to talk.
What?
And all those calls you got from me were about how Serenity sprained her ankle at school today. She got the rest of the day off, and her school and I were trying to reach you about it.
She got the rest of the day off?
She only had one period left, and I think it was gym class or something, so they just sent her home.
Ah, I see. Well, the reason I wasn't able to answer it all is because I've been on the road. So that must mean that Serenity will be getting home really soon here, right?
No, my mum will be taking care of her today. She's the first person to pick up the call from the school, so she went in to pick Serenity up. She took Serenity back home with her, and that's where she's staying at the moment.
Ah, I see. I didn't know that happened.
Anyway, until either myself or you get home, my mum will be looking after her and her sprained ankle.
Well, that's good to hear that she's doing all of that for Serenity.
Now, I'm getting back to work.
I have to get back to work as well here, so I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Hey, Dad? You're a bit worried about Mom now, aren't you?
What?
Sorry for talking about this so suddenly. I'm having lunch right now, so I thought I'd text you about this.
Well, I'm on my lunch as well right now, so we can talk if you want. Why would you ask me something like that?
Well, this is the follow-up to what happened the day I got home from school early. I told you about how Mom's company car was parked by the house and how I saw who I thought was her running to it, right?
Well, yeah.
You don't have to hide how you feel about this, Dad. We both know what's going on with her now. Remember how Mom would always go on about how she never had her own company car and always had to share? Well, I think she came to the house that day with the man that kicked me out, and that's why the car was parked outside. She probably never told that man about how she had a daughter in high school or something, and that's why things ended up the way they did that afternoon.
Serenity.
Dad, when I came home from school that day, I walked into Mom having an affair.
You don't have to tell me that.
Dad?
I'm sorry that you had to witness something like that from your own mother. Just leave the rest of this to me, please.
Okay then. Well, that's all I'll say. I'm going with you, Dad, wherever you go, okay?
Serenity, right now, I'm in the middle of collecting evidence of your mum cheating on me. But when the time comes, I'll let you know what I plan to do, and what'll happen after that. I'm sorry, but can you just keep quiet about all of this for a little longer?
All right, I'll be fine, Dad.
I'm sorry to ask you that, but thank you. Emily, where are you right now?
I'm on my break right now. What do you need?
This isn't anything we need to talk about right now if you're busy.
Is that right? Well, then I'm sorry to say this, but I'm getting back to work right now, so we can talk later on.
I see. You must be really busy there then. Busy with that man you brought over to the house and all. Well, I'm sorry to say, but I just sold the house, so hurry up and leave there, please.
What? You sold the house? What are you going on about? Also, what man? Right now I'm on my break at work, Sam.
I know, Emily. You're on your break from work right now, and during your break you bring that man to our house and mess around with him there.
Huh?
And that man happened to get a duplicate of the house's key from you. So he comes to the house first sometimes, and then once you've parked your company car out in front of the house on the road, you go inside for a little bit to join him. You both go up to our bedroom and get whatever pleasure you want from one another before you have to get back to work. Normally you both go out on dates and things like that when I'm not in town. And when money is low and you don't have enough for dates, you both use the house instead. Right?
No way. How?
2 months ago, or about that, Serenity came home from school early due to her sprained ankle. Do you remember that?
I remember. Your mom went to the school and got her for us because she was the first to get back to the school about it. And then Serenity stayed at your mom's house for a while, right?
Actually, before she went to my mum's house, she went home, thinking that everything would be all right there.
What?
During that time, Serenity walked into the house after realizing the door was unlocked, and she was met by your boyfriend coming out of the bathroom.
Huh?
Your boyfriend had no idea that you had yourself a daughter who was in high school. He screamed at her saying that she can't come into random people's houses like that before he kicked her out.
He never told me anything about that.
So you know about him, hmm? Does this mean we can agree that you've been cheating on me with him then?
Wait a second.
Whether you want to confess to it or not, I already have all the proof I need of you cheating. So you're not going to fool me anymore.
You're kidding me. So because of that one instance, you were able to catch on to everything?
And that's why that house is sold now.
What?
You had a man that Serenity had no clue about in that house alone with her, and he screamed at her before kicking her out. She is scared to death now, going to the house all on her own, and she doesn't even want to live there anymore. You think that either of us want to live in the same house that you were cheating on me in? No way.
Hold on a second, Sam. Does this mean that both you and Serenity have moved already?
That's right. We've moved.
No way. Come on now, Sam. I just started to have a look around the house right now, and both your things and hers are all gone.
We learned that you'd always bring your boyfriend over in the afternoon to have sex with him. So this morning we took care of all our things before you came. In 2 days, the new owners of the house will be there, so you need to leave soon.
In 2 days?
I'll make sure to talk to your parents about everything that's happened for you.
Huh?
I'm sure you'll be able to go back to their house and live there, so don't get too worried.
What? You can't do that to me. You understand that both my parents hate people that are not faithful when married, right? So don't tell me to calm down right now. Are you trying to pick on me now?
Oh, does it sound like I'm picking on you right now? Also, I've already made sure to talk with your boyfriend's parents about all this.
What?
I can't believe that he was hiding the fact that he has a kid from you as well. And on top of that, he's already divorced, but still talks with his ex-wife's parents.
What? No!
Now, just a second ago, his parents sent him a very scary message. I'm sure that he's looking at that message from them right in front of your eyes, right?
Huh? How could you tell them about all of this?
Well, that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. So now that you're aware of all that, the next step between you and I is talking about divorce and what that entails.
Divorce?
Anyway, if you have anything else to say to me over text, please talk to my lawyer about it first.
You're terrible. I was thinking at least with this divorce I'd still be able to marry my boyfriend. But now that you told him about how I was already married to you while this was going on, he's run off and I can't get an answer from him. Also, I was thinking that I could meet with Serenity today and talk with her, so I waited outside the school. But when she came out to leave the school, she just ignored me and walked off with her friends. I am that child's mother. You are stealing everything I had. You're a jerk. And now you're asking to get a settlement from me as well? You are a frickin' demon. Satan! How about you pick up your dang phone, Sam?
That last group of messages I got from Emily seemed to me like she was very upset. So I waited a couple more days to go and talk with her while my lawyer was with me, and that seemed to help make her shut up. My lawyer told her that she needed to pay me in one payment and would also be paying child support for a few more years. And then he finished by saying that I'd be blocking her number and all her social media accounts so that she could never get a hold of me again. After that, she ended up paying me the settlement and would begin paying child support every month. I was also thinking about getting a settlement from her boyfriend, but felt bad because he never knew that Emily was married. But a little while after the divorce, his sister came to my house and apologized to me for everything he had done, made sure that he'd send me some money as an apology. With that, well, I'd say that I'm happy with the outcome. At about the same time as the divorce, Emily was fired from her job. The reason for that being she used the company car to come all the way back to the house on her breaks to cheat on me. Also, both of her parents ended up cutting ties with her. Emily had literally lost everything, including her parents' love, and left town to go find somewhere no one would find her. Even to this day, I'm not sure where she is, but I do know that she's still alive somewhere and making money, as I'm still getting child support from her every month. As for myself and Serenity, after everything, we moved to the other side of town, into a house close to my parents' home. I'm still working my same old job, and since Serenity is old enough to take care of herself most of the time, I don't have to worry about anyone being there to watch her. Also, with us being so close to my parents now, she feels a lot more comfortable coming home, knowing that if there ever is another stranger in the home, she can run right over to their house and wait for me.